Stabilizing student families is our discussion for today on the Inside Scoop. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Inside Scoop. I'm David Owen. Make sure you click that follow or subscribe button along with the notification bell to be alerted to another episode's release. School is hard. Rigorous, challenging coursework is what grows students' brains into successful critical thinkers. But when life itself becomes difficult because of unusual financial strains on the family, student performance tends to drop, sometimes significantly. This is where social workers, specifically school social workers, and their community partners can step in to help. I'm joined today by our Assistant Director of Student Support, Anna Murphy, and Keylan Mitchell of Mooyah Burgers in Mableton. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So, Mooyah Burger, first of all, I love the name, and we'll come back to more about who you are and who your company is. But for right now, Anna, one of our school social workers' major duties is to help remove those distractions in life that could prevent students from losing focus on their education. So what is meant by the term family stabilization, and how is that different than just supporting a family in poverty, for example?
So, and I appreciate you having me on today. As you mentioned, many of our families have just face different situations where they need just that assistance to quote unquote stabilize, be it help pay an electric bill, where it relieves the stress for the family, which then is not placed on the child, and that they can then focus at school. So stabilization is really providing them that support, that immediate support that then allows that family to move on and to grow. Okay. And we're not talking about something that happens like chronically. This is like a once. Correct. It's not an ongoing support. It's really, unfortunate circumstances. Someone who might have a car accident and then prevents them from going to work, or someone who their electric bill, with the weather right now, our electric bills, our gas bills go up because of the cold weather. And so even though families might budget a certain amount, because the weather outside is impacting them, it might put them in a different situation. So they need that little bit of support to really stabilize them to move forward.
Yeah, and sometimes you get more than just one thing impacting.
Absolutely.
Somebody gets their hours cut back.
Correct. You could have your hours cut back. You could car accidents. You could get sick, and if you're sick and you're not able to go to work, then you're not able to receive an income, or reduces the amount of income that you receive, and that impacts, it just filters and spirals down.
Okay. Now, some of us have teenagers in the house, and so even just leaving on lights all the time can be impactful, but that's a different podcast.
Or eating all the food in the refrigerator. Yes.
Don't get me started. So this has got to be, some of these areas that you've discussed can be, pretty expensive things. Where does the money come from? Is that tax dollars?
So, no, we are very, very fortunate in Cobb County to have a lot of support from our community. And so we have different donors that provide through to the Cobb Schools Foundation, to the Family Stabilization. And many of our own employees actually contribute to that as part of their donations that they elect to do so on a monthly basis.
Cobb Schools Foundation seems to be behind a lot of these support things. They're huge, and we'll come back to them again. We've done podcasts in the past on them, but there are so many different areas that they are connected to for providing or helping to provide student success in the district. So Keylan, you're one of those community partners, as they say.
Absolutely.
And you caught our attention because, it's not everybody that writes big checks like you wrote. But before we go there, let's talk a little bit about who you are and the organization, the company that you represent, Mooyah Burger.
Well, thank you for having me, David. It's good to be with you again, Anna. Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is a fast casual, better burger concept. It is based out of Texas. There are about 90 locations nationwide. We are the first and only store in Georgia, located in Mableton, Georgia, off of Veterans Memorial Highway.
Good for Mableton.
Absolutely. It's a great burger. We've lived in the Mableton area for over 15 years. Was answering that question that so many of us answer after work. Baby, what is it that we're going to eat? And too many times we found ourselves traveling outside of our neighborhood for the options that we wanted. And so we wanted to bring something that was a higher quality, fast casual concept, and found Mooyah via some online research. Went to Birmingham, tasted it. It's delicious. We're baking our bun in-house daily. We have the highest grade of certified Angus beef, hand-cut fries, fresh cut vegetables daily.
Okay, you're killing me. We're recording
it's a great
this mid-morning, and if you hear a stomach rumble, it's
I'm
his
tempting
fault.
You for lunch.
Yes.
Now, you said fast casual dining. That's a phrase I hadn't heard. So you're distinguishing yourself from like fast food,
Yes.
right? From the McDonald's and so forth. Don't sue us. But that's an intriguing concept. Now, how did you cross paths with Cobb Schools Foundation?
I crossed paths with Cobb Schools Foundation. My wife and I opened the Keylan and Mitchell Charitable Fund through the Cobb Community Foundation, and there they actually have a list of partners. And so first kind of saw the name there and thought this could be interesting, because one of the reasons that we opened is that we wanted to be a place that was supporting young people, not only in their journey with their careers, but both my wife and I are mothers, are retired educators, so we have a unique passion for schools. We've been around schools all
It's
our
in your
lives.
DNA.
It is,
right?
certainly. And so we were looking for opportunities to where we could invest in our schools, and we found that the Cobb Schools Foundation was opportunity to do it really efficiently and know that you were investing in something where the teachers, the administrators, the social workers were making sure that those funds were going to help families.
So, and that's a great intro to the question I had for Anna, and that is, what do these monies mean to the families? I mean, you described why they need them, but tell us a little more about the personal level implication of such a donation to these families.
It's huge, for lack of a better word, to be honest with you. So many families, the stressors are just heightened, and just knowing that support is there, again, allows that parent to move on, and then does not cause that stress in the household, which then filters onto the child.
Yeah.
And so it's just, I can't describe it any other way, but it's just a huge positive message that we're sending out to parents of being able to provide that level of support.
Yeah, I can imagine the stress level when do you your school social workers make the call to the family to say, hey, good news?
Yes, so we do a lot of the collecting the information, finding out where the family is as far with employment, what is coming up for them in the future, and just really talking to them, having those challenging conversations, but then giving the opportunity to say, we were able to pay that light bill, or we were able to help you with your after-school care for your child.
Okay, wow. That's, and not to get too far into the weeds, but you guys actually, you don't just hand the family money and hope they'll spend it wisely, right?
Oh.
You actually like go to the power company and pay it directly on their behalf?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So we do financial assessments with our families, and then we speak with the different, be it the Light, Georgia Power, or Greystone, or whichever company they're working with, to make sure that we have the most accurate information, and then that money goes directly to the company.
So, Keylan, you have, and I don't know that you would necessarily go around telling people this, but you have donated about, what is it, $4,500?
This year.
This year.
Yeah.
And how many years have you been doing this?
This is the second year.
Okay, 2 years in a row. $9,000 from Mooyah Burger. Why do you do that? I mean, honestly, it's so easy in today's world to say, yeah, y'all need to help those kids, and then you just move on with your life. Why do you feel that it's really important to jump into the game, so to speak? I have learned you're a big sports fan.
Yes.
And, actually, continuing the sports analogy, move the ball for some of these students who are in a tough position.
Well, it's a passion of ours that aligns with our values. As I told you earlier, both of our mothers are educators, and we've benefited greatly from great public education, and know the value and how access to a great public education can change lives. And for those young people who are experiencing the challenges that we've described so far, we wanted to make sure that they had access to the opportunities for them to succeed. For us, that's a measuring stick of how good of a community you live in, is the access for all of our children to have opportunities for success. So we just think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It aligns with our values, and wanted to just be an encourager and encourage other businesses to invest as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, first, I've got a flurry of questions to pose, because you've said some intriguing things there. One thing that occurred to me, though, is also your workforce, I'm guessing, might be students.
It
right?
is
Okay. Large part?
a large part, yes.
Okay. So I don't want to get into any individuals, but
No.
I could imagine that you might even come across somebody experiencing that kind of a need in your organization.
I would say a large majority of our students' wages are going towards supporting household needs.
Yeah.
And so it is a natural extension of the opportunity that we have as an employer, from a mentoring perspective, from just the conversations you have, just encouraging them to continue with their education, to complete their education, to think about future goals that they would have. We see ourselves in the business more of a community service organization that just happens to serve the best burgers, fries, and shakes that you will ever taste. We're a community service organization. We're a community service organization, in several aspects: community gathering spot, the employment and mentoring the young people that you just mentioned, and then partnership opportunities like the one that we're discussing today.
Yeah, we just had a recent podcast with our Mentoring Matters person, and it sounds to me like you can take the badge of mentor.
Yes.
as well. That's awesome. So a minute ago, you mentioned encouraging others to do what you have done, and that being to support students through the Cobb Schools Foundation. What would you say to another company owner who is looking at, hey, maybe this is something I should consider?
I would say just do it. That the benefits of it are extraordinary for our community. It is very efficient and easily done. The charitable fund that we set up with Cobb Community Foundation was easily set up. Also working with Felicia and the Cobb Schools Foundation has been a joy. They provide information on what the opportunities are to invest in, and also follow up and give a report on the return of that investment, and the testimonies of stories for the families that you've been able to help with those dollars, and even give opportunities. If we wanted to engage and go to Mapleton and go to the after school program, she's presented those opportunities. So it's been great in that regard.
Well, that is fantastic. Is there anything else that either of you want to add? You have had so many good things to say here. I'm excited to get this word out about what you guys
I'd like to just publicly thank you, not only for the money, but also really just your investment back into the community, because it does filter into our schools, and we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. The only thing I would like to add is that another part of our investment is our fundraising program. We can partner with any school organization, clubs, and they can have a fundraising night where we give back 15 to 25% of the revenue from that evening to that school organization or club. Via that and our other investments, we've invested over $25,000 in schools and youth serving organizations the 2 years that we've been open. So the other thing that I add to business owners is this is good business. Yeah. It's not just good charitably. We have 9 schools, public schools, within a 5-mile radius of our store, and I can't tell you how many teachers come in and social workers or bus drivers, school personnel come in, and they'll come in and eat with us, and they'll find me and they'll say, I came here because I found out about, some of the things that you're doing in partnership with our schools. Wow. All school personnel, you show your badge, get a 10% discount.
I'll be there today.
That's not just on your teacher appreciation week. That's every day that we're open, just because of our appreciation for what teachers and school personnel do for our community. So
that is, I'm not kidding. I'm coming your way, because this podcast
look forward to serving you.
It's hard to do because it's making my mouth water so bad. Well, and you said 15 to 25% give back. I've heard of schools having a such and such a school night at
Spirit
a various
right.
Yeah, but that's huge. Most of the time it's 10%. I think
it starts at 15, and as the revenue for the evening increases, if you bring more people into Mooyah Mapleton, then you
we'll
give
back
that up to 25%.
Wow, you heard it here, people. Yeah, take advantage of that. And any of you PTA people, Booster Club people, Mooyah Burgers is in your corner. Go over there, make sure. Well, thank you so much, you guys. This is fantastic. I've really enjoyed hearing about what you do and how you guys made the connection and are helping these families. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for what you do, each of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And remember, we'll put links in the show notes and the video description in case you need help or would like to help out or learn more about family stabilization, or for that matter, go get a good burger. Not a bad idea. So make sure also that you let a couple of friends know about this podcast. People are hesitant to share their needs, and sometimes just sharing a potential solution is huge in somebody's life. Thank you so much for listening to this edition of The Inside Scoop, a podcast produced by the Cobb County School District.